Well, first of all, Saba's Caribbean spiny lobster is extremely special, not only because of its yummy taste, but because of its behavior. I mean, it uses this great big place, and why would it come to Saba and not another island? Well, there's more to tell on that one. The Saba Bank is the third largest submerged atoll in the Atlantic. Did you know that? It is extremely special. And why is it also so special? Well, it's one of the fishing grounds for our Saba fishermen. It has a lot of culture, it has a lot of history, and most importantly, because of this fishing ground, it provides a migration route for the Caribbean spiny lobster. So that's why they're coming to the Saba Bank as well. And yeah, there's a lot of ground to play on. Saba fishermen historically have always had a sustainable practice, and not necessarily because they've been told so. It's been instinct. The mothers who have eggs and made sure not to take them or harvest them. So that's a sustainable practice, which is really important, and ensuring that, the smaller lobsters can be released. Well, the future of Saba's fishery with the lobster heavily depends on, how are fishermen doing? How is the lobster doing, most importantly? And I think if we connect those, study those, and make sure that they continue their sustainable practices, we can ensure that it remains on the menu.
Hi, my name is Tom Brokke and I'm a park officer for the Saba Bank Management Unit, which is part of the Saba Conservation Foundation. So lobsters are actually quite good for the underwater climate. So they feed on macroalgae. Macroalgae are of course in competition with coral reefs, so as soon as they graze the macroalgae away, coral reefs have more space to grow, which is quite good. They're very important for the food chain, so they basically feed on the smaller crustaceans and keep those populations in check. And they're also a very important food source for like sharks and bigger fish species. And next to that, they also create burrows and holes on the Saba Bank, which other species can also use to avoid predation, basically as a shelter. So basically lobsters start out as in a larval stage where they basically float around in the water column as plankton until they're big enough to settle. And after settlement, they basically settle in like a bed of macroalgae where they avoid predation from bigger fish. And after they get through that phase and they get about to that size probably, they will move into a crevice or a shelter where they will continue to grow for 2 years until they reach adulthood. And after adulthood, they can start making baby lobsters. So of course, the famous lobster that everyone knows, I would say, is the main lobster, which has big claws and they have shorter antennae. But when we look at the lobsters over here, they don't have those big claws and they have only very tiny little claws. They have way larger antennas to feel around with. And yeah, they have a different habitat, they get different age, they taste different even. So there's a bunch of differences. So when it comes to the Saba Bank, the lobster fisheries, they need to have at least a 95mm carapace length. That means that the length of the shell needs to be at least 95mm, and that's measured from between the eyes till the back of the shell. Next to that, you can also not take pregnant females, or basically females with eggs. As soon as you take those out of the water and you see like the orange little eggs in the back, you have to throw it back into the water. And in general, I would say that the Saba fishermen comply with it. And so after 2013, when the Saba Bank was established as a national park, they stopped doing that, and then the lobster regulations got into place.
My name is Augustine Hall. This is my dad, Ivan. We've been fishing for lobster. I got like 23 years. My dad's over 40.
My first experience was when we start fishing and catching lobsters. Maybe 40, 50 lobsters a day. That was a lot of them years.
Working with my dad as an experience. Saw the drops coming out with my dad and I just liked it.
Last 40 years I'm probably been fishing constantly for lobsters, but on the first years we only fished a couple of months and then we stopped. But after we started fishing constantly, like almost 40 years now. It's very important for the livelihood and for the selling some markets. That's our biggest market. Supply keeps we going all year long and we can do good.
is important, but we sell more lobster.
And you have 10 boat, a couple of 100 kilos, a couple of 1,000 kilos or more a year. We've got many 1,000 kilos a year. We have like maybe 3 to 4 different types of traps he uses. And bait wise, we use usually is cowhide.
Well, some guys use square traps. Some days is slow, some days are great. We love to see the great days.
My favorite lobster dish has 2 aspects to it. First of all, my father used to be a lobster fisherman, which is very special to me. And he used to make me the baked lobster fish and just coat it in garlic butter. And for me, that's the best.
If I would have to choose one dish, it would probably be a good lobster pasta because I love pasta.
My wife likes to cook like a curry lobster. I love that. I like a lobster, I mean, just boil it, take it out on the shell, squeeze lime on it, and eat it just like that. It's really tasty.
Me, I don't have no really lobster dish. I love to see them, catch them, sell them.
Be sure to taste Saba's delicious spiny lobster at 17 different restaurants across the island this Rum and Lobster Fest from November 6th to the 12th.